AV SuperFriends on Topic is an independent production wholly owned and operated by AV SuperFriends, LLC. For the highest quality recording of all of our shows, visit avsuperfriends.com. This is AV SuperFriends on Topic, a 30-minute monthly roundtable focused on a single topic. This discussion will be opinionated, to the point, and saturated with our well-known blend of painfully won expertise and deeply ingrained immaturity. For February 2025, it's the best-sounding podcast in higher ed. This is the AV SuperFriends on Topic, episode number 55. Figure out how we went from 101 to 55, and you'll know the magic there. Jump. So, broadcasting live across 4 time zones from coast to coast, easternmost and westernmost, northernmost to southernmost, gate post to hitching post. I'm your local host who can boast the most milquetoast and utmost humility. I'm Chris Dector. Time for another Friday afternoon podcast adventure with a bunch of people who keep walking off camera.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
So,
I was worried about your well-being for a spell there.
Larry went to Texas for something. I don't know what's happening.
I thought you were bleeding out.
Justin leaves.
Figure out what the number.
Jamie's fixing TVs.
911 is.
What's
in
going
North
on
Carolina?
Right
It's 911.
It's 912.
That's for Kentucky.
That's 9. All right, so
911 here.
Let's say hello to today's panel of AV Super Friends. There's this button down here.
It's going to be that way today.
So today I'm joined by a central functionality specialist from Kansas City. Say hello to Jamie Reinhardt.
I'm not even sure what that does.
Oh yeah? Well, we're also joined by a national identity consultant from Corvallis, Oregon. Say hello to Mark Kolowazinski.
We're all in trouble nationally. Everybody's,
Mark,
it's all stolen.
I need some
leaked.
consultation on my identity.
Yes,
Can you help me?
I will. Well, who do you want? I can get you a good deal on a slightly used identity. Scratch and dent sale.
Also joined by a lead markets synergist from Greensboro, North Carolina. Welcome, Larry Darling.
Synergy. I like synergy.
Only in lead markets. Actually, you know that? Maybe that's lead markets.
It's lead. Yeah, it's lead.
I read that wrong.
Slow.
Only lead.
Slow.
Yeah. Lead markets.
Also joined by our Executive Vice President for Forward Infrastructure from Bowling Green, Kentucky, Mr. Justin Rexing.
Reverse. We're going in reverse.
I think we mounted them backwards.
And finally, special guest, a customer ideation facilitator from Pikeville, Kentucky, Teddy Murphy.
No clue what that does.
Someone's got that job.
Yeah. It's real.
You put it on your it's on LinkedIn. You're welcome. Get it on there.
All right, so on today's show, we're going to discuss our favorite IT and AV items that keep coming back year after year because it is February. But first, got some housekeeping. So, if you're listening to this later as a recorded MP3, we do stream live on Fridays at about 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, or whenever Larry gets back from wherever he just went. You can join us live on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. You left for like 8 minutes.
It's an
It's like, I'm gonna
eternity.
go get a drink of water. He's
From-
got gray
from
hair
Spain.
when he gets back.
I had gray hair when
Gray
I
hair when we left.
If you can't join us live, we still want you to connect with us on the socials. Follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Blue Sky for the Twitter refugees. And let's see. Don't forget to spread the word. Please share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, enemies, perfect strangers, and anyone else who might enjoy it. If you could stop the bus driver from making any more stops until everyone downloads the next episode, that would be great. Subscribe
What I
to
find
that.
works best is when you're like, it's busy downtown, you're going to walk across the street, just in front of the cars, have it open and just tell them one by one as you're walking across the street. That is the best way to spread the word.
That sounds terrible. Don't do that.
Do it.
But steal their phones and subscribe them. If you do want to support the show, please consider donating. Your contributions help us to keep bringing you the honest content that you love or love to hate. And you can find the donation link on the show description of this very episode or on our website.
Thank you all to you who have given in the past.
And yes, to those of you who do donate regularly, thank you very much because it's offsetting my giant Visa card bill.
It's always fun watching Justin figure out how to log into that account and check. So it's hours of entertainment for us.
PayPal's
Here we
seems
go.
difficult.
You know, when I buy stuff on PayPal, Justin, it sends you an email. So
Yeah, it does not.
but we don't know where that email goes.
Oh, I got to check like 5 emails. So.
They're all forwarded to all these different relay accounts.
we got a lot going on over here.
We do want to hear from you, so if there's a topic you'd like us to cover, please send us an email or comment on social media. You can hit us on the email, mailbag at AV SuperFriends, or Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Blue Sky, all that fun stuff. And finally, when you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other platform, please rate and review us. The more you rate us, the higher it bumps us in the magic algo land, and more people will see it and wonder what the heck this thing is, and then they will subscribe. So there you go.
Those algos are tricky. They'll get you.
So anyway, on to today's topic. This being February, if you're listening to this in a recorded MP3, and if you're not, you're confused.
Oh, it's February. Okay.
This is February, Justin.
Okay.
Theater of the mind.
Yeah.
So February, of course, being most famous for George Washington's birthday.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Is that a thing?
It used to be.
Sadie Hawkins Day. I don't know what's going on here. Women's suffrage movement. Is Groundhog Day. And Groundhog Day, is we're just kind of leaning into this from last year because we're lazy, is we're just going to run last year's show and see if you guys notice. But the idea being here, we've all picked those things that keep coming back every year. The same conversations you have about once a year. And you about halfway through, you're thinking, didn't we just talk about this? Yeah. So we've all brought our favorite little odds and ends that are going to fit into that theme of the stuff that we're dealing with every year, once a year.
Does that mean
what
we're dealing with, or just in general that keeps popping up?
Okay, could be in general. Okay. I went with ones I'm dealing with. You can just say whatever you want. So
good.
Where are we going to start here? So let's say as the panelists who traveled the farthest to be here today, Teddy, let's start with you. No, too late. We're going to go with Justin.
Me? Okay.
Because you weren't even looking.
So I've got one item, but there's a lot of.
We didn't start our timer.
Okay, here we go.
One item with 17 sub-items.
Of course, it's consultants.
I knew
because I just can't get over. Like, if you're sitting there making a drawing, are you not... When you drive, do you open your eyes when you drive? Do you look at the road? No. Okay. So stop drawing AVB lines to Dante. Okay. Stop showing 3% element height when it's actually 5%. Okay. Stop drawing network lines to all network switches and enterprise networks and combining everything without a plan. Just cut it out.
It's just a nice cloud.
Justin, it's a box and they just draw a line to it.
Stop using all-in-wonders that aren't even made anymore, that are just a hair older than the MPS 100s that we still have running on campus. Stop speccing 16 by 10 screens as a default. Why do you do that?
Matches projector.
Stop specifying a lectern with $15,000 of equipment in it for a classroom, and you spec a portable projector for $1,000 in the ceiling. That obviously does not match any standard whatsoever.
Wow.
Stop drawing 70 volt 6-inch speakers in every ceiling, no matter the ceiling height, from 7 foot to 22 feet. It's ridiculous. Stop doing that shit. Like, why? What are you doing?
We're making money, man.
I just don't understand. They're losing money. You could draw for speakers that cost more money. They're wasting money in places. They're not speccing enough in other places. There's no rhyme or reason. They're speccing. I just reviewed a consultant's work. They put a 100 volt amp on there.
Oh, we're in Europe.
That's European.
Which is technically illegal for a lot of people in many states.
I bid on it for integrator side, and I won the bid, and it's still in the bid. And I'm like, all right, I'm letting that go.
See, but you're playing the game that they want to play. You're just I'll just do the wrong thing, and then I'll just charge them a change order and blah blah blah, and we'll just print some money.
I'm trying to watch out for the client, so you write up all this stuff, and doesn't mean anything. You bid on the wrong stuff. You start writing RFIs, and then it turns into an argument. It's like there's no argument. You stop arguing with physics. Stop arguing with the NEC code. Stop arguing with everything. Just stop.
Sounds like this is an all-year thing for you. You're going to get a good year worth of fun out of this, whatever this was.
Yep. It's just every year.
And I will take. You are definitely supporting whatever this is when it's all said and done. I just want to go on record by saying that. Yeah.
I don't support anything, so that's actually wrong.
Perfect.
Justin, most of the time, is not the frontline defense. I'm the guy in the back throwing grenades over the front line. trying to help the best I can.
All right. Well, awesome.
So you're saying just the general AV industry comes back every year and bothers you?
It's really
the adjacent industry. Yes.
I don't know if they're overworked and they're just trying to get something out to get bid on and just say, oh yeah, we met that deadline. I really don't know what's causing all the problems, but when you rush through something, you make mistakes.
Paste.
But why would you do that? Because they have to go fast.
Because it's easier, duh.
Because they have to get some approval because it has to be a certain deadline before the bid goes out.
I don't know if it's a laziness thing as much as it is like smoke and mirrors. I think it's a lot of like, I'm going to make this look very detailed, so maybe they just won't know what they're looking at, and they'll like, well, it's got a lot of lines and shit on it, and it's got to be true, and they're dumb enough to fall for it. Because I've seen a lot of elaborate wrong things, and this feels like that to me. Like, let me just overspec this with wrong stuff so I can make a lot of money and pad my pocket.
I don't think it's that anymore. I think 80% of it is I don't have time to do this job the right way. So just move on to the next thing. And then I know it's wrong. So I'll correct it 6 months from now on the RFI when I get it back, because I know the contractor is going to submit an RFI. But it's not my problem now. I don't have to deal with that shit now. Deal with it later.
Yeah, but is it a net problem?
But is it a net for like potential nickel and diming down the road? If I just put forward this wrong stuff, they sign off on it, and then we can just make one dime our way. Bad because the more RFIs you get, to Teddy's point, the more mistakes it makes. It's very obvious you made all these mistakes in your design. So and then the change order happens, and
you end up with 80 change orders. 80.
And that's how you stimulate the economy. And that's just what happens.
But it makes the integrator more money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so these are all complaints at the integrator.
It wastes the
clients. But how is this not in their best interest to continue to do so? Because you just said they're making more money, and let's be real, at the end of the day, that's all they care about.
I feel really bad for the client when this stuff happens. I just don't want to change order you, but I have to. Because that's the process.
So, all right. Well, it is what it is.
Okay, now we'll go to Teddy. Teddy, what's your Groundhog Day thing that comes up year after year, comes back like clockwork, and we hope one of these days it's going to see its shadow and go back inside for 6 weeks or so?
You see, Justin just stole the one that I was harping on the most.
Oh.
Sorry.
Grab my coattails and just keep bitching about it. I mean, that's fine. Really hammer that point home, Teddy.
No. But no, so let's see. Could be the people who buy their own TVs and randomly want to put them on the network.
Oh, hey, can you put this in for me? I bought it.
So, Teddy, that sounds like you have a story that goes with it.
No, we'll just say we have. There's been an incident around my way.
Oh, that, yeah.
And we'll just not speak much of that. But so because of that, we have some new implementations for networking.
So that was the root cause, was a TV?
We don't know. We don't know.
We can't say what it was or what it wasn't.
Can't say what it was or what it wasn't.
Could have, but might not have been an endpoint such as this.
Yes.
I love it.
TV.
I love it when it's a smart TV and they put in their own credentials.
But
yeah, those are fun.
How come my Netflix keeps shutting off? Because you used your own account, you dummy.
So I hit Chris up because of a situation that another one that keeps rearing its head is wireless display, wireless casting. We use a lot of air server on campus.
Air server?
Yeah, it's an application on a computer. People
not
can
angry squirrels.
Not Air Parrot.
Nope.
Not Air Parrot.
Nope.
It's the same company, Justin.
It is? Okay. So it's the same thing. I just didn't know it as.
So, it's they scan a QR code on the screen and their device connects and they can share in the room. So since this incident now, the personal devices are now entirely outside of our firewall. And these computers are inside the firewall. So they're just like, hey, literally more tickets screaming about why is air server not working than most of anything else. Even in a town hall with administration, they're screaming, why won't air server work? So the administration's like, hey, there's a BYOD cable in every room. Why don't you just plug your iPad in? Well, then I can't walk around the room.
Have you thought of using Zoom or Teams?
Well,
just gonna throw
so
that out there.
that's what Chris said. So I've been pitching that to the faculty as a workaround.
You get weird
Groundhog
looks,
Day.
but eventually they kind of, some of them come around. Some of them will go, Teddy, you're brilliant. Others will go, Teddy, you're an idiot.
Others will say,
I've been
but I don't
getting
want to
that
have a
one.
meeting. It's like,
I've been getting
What are you
you're an
doing?
idiot. And then there's the fact that we do not purchase Zoom license for all of our faculty.
Oh,
no, you just want you need one site license. Don't buy the major their own license.
So
Yeah, but you have to have a bucket with that number of
you need a
licenses.
bucket.
yeah,
bunch of-
but we do not have that many licenses. So and faculty despise.
Can I ask
things.
what is your platform of choice? Do you have
It is for faculty and administration. It is Zoom. For the IT department, it is of course Teams.
Oh my God, you guys! What are you doing? So how?
Teddy, if they use Zoom for teaching already, how do they get this? Do they have to order a license per person?
Yes, we buy
check
a
in,
license
check
per
out?
person. Yeah.
Check in, check out, and
That's
then they
webinar
return
style.
the license somehow or
Yeah,
something.
we have a lot of adjunct faculty. We do not have a ton of full-time faculty. So we check in and check out adjuncts when they leave and move that license to
RTC
someone
screen
else.
share project.
That's a really stupid problem, Teddy.
It still comes up every year. So
Yeah, it does come up every year.
What's the best wireless streaming device? Oh God.
not the one at your
There
house.
isn't
But
one. My
by the
answer
way-
is still Zoom.
Yeah, I want to stand corrected here. Or stand corrected. The Air Server is a different company than Air Parrot. I was mixing those up. So
okay. I've never
but
heard of Air Server.
Same
I've heard of Air
concept.
Parrot.
It runs.
Yeah,
It runs
same
on a
thing.
dedicated small PC or a dedicated appliance or it's an application.
So you have a wired device in your wireless at one time before said incident used to connect to that wired device. Is that what's going on? One VLAN. Bring all your problems to one
Yeah,
location.
they would bring their personal device and someone would put them on what we called our campus-owned Wi-Fi, which was inside of the firewall and had access to all of our internal resources.
Ooh, that's exciting.
I'm just gonna say it. That sounds like a bad idea.
So I will say it a little more
Again,
diplomatically.
comes up every year.
A little more diplomatically, Teddy. A lot of places operated that exact same way for many years.
Yes, until an incident such as this.
Until an incident such as this or something similar where they were like, hey, shut that off.
Exactly.
And then suddenly, so this happened to me as well. This happened to me 4 years ago, whenever it was. In the middle of the semester with no notice, all of a sudden, they just ACL'd all the student personal devices, wireless, whatever, into its own little group boop, over there. And the things that worked yesterday no longer did.
Nothing could talk to anything else.
The way it was always meant to be.
Of course, and that was the response, Mark, was they were like, well, this is how it was supposed to be, but it wasn't set up that way years ago. Okay, fine. But don't do it on like week 4 of the semester. Don't do it on a Tuesday afternoon. And also maybe, you prep for it a little bit. So
During
all the stuff broke.
finals.
Wait,
called
you
change
do it on a
management?
Tuesday afternoon if the incident happens on a Tuesday morning
No. There
or
was
a Monday
no. So
afternoon.
Larry, let me take it back. There was no incident. This was simply
No, this
a
is just-
posturing because the best practice says you want to make sure you separate these.
Flex
And
it.
they recognized it wasn't. So they're like, oh, click, and then it was. I was like,
And
all right,
then there was no communication to your campus saying that this was happening
correct.
because
And the communication came to me because they're like, why isn't my wireless thing working
It was
anymore?
communicated well with tickets.
Yes.
Yes.
Overly
No.
communicated tickets.
It wasn't.
But
Anyway.
our networking team keeps making changes to our firewall still and not communicating to people that it's happening. And the reason I'm at home and not at work right now is because we had an outage today.
Another network outage?
Yes.
Another incident.
Is
Or
there
just-
something
I
going
think it was
on
a
in that
firewall
state?
issue.
There's something in that state.
I think people are
What's
just
going on?
drinking way too much bourbon in Kentucky. And this is coming from me. I have
What is going on in Kentucky?
So, Teddy, you had asked a couple of questions to me anyway, and I said, let's talk about it on the show. And like, what are some potential solutions to something like this if you do have to physically or electronically, I suppose, segregate bits of the network?
I just noticed my damn name. Who changed that again?
Been this
We
for
thought
an
you
hour, man. Come on.
Anyway, and you had asked about devices that have multiple NICs, which is a potential solution. The problem is, and Larry went through this, and he could talk more about it, that not all of them are true hardware firewalls between them.
Yeah.
So
Very few of them are. Most of them are just a managed switch.
Yeah.
it's internal managed switch, yeah. And if that's a software switch, then in a software connection within the switch, then in theory, if someone's able to penetrate that, they could switch over. And now they're on the other network. So yeah.
House of cards.
Honestly, there's no easy solution. I mean, the Zoom Teams is the
Yeah, I
Zoom
think
Teams
that's-
or anything in the cloud where you're using, I'm just going to let outbound traffic and then outbound traffic and they communicate out there.
You want to be doing that connectivity at the cloud level. You don't want to be doing and manage it behind your firewall and stuff. Like that's just it's too much nonsense to be doing that. And I think we will migrate fully into the cloud. Teams and Zoom, that approach seems to be the way that folks should be looking at it instead of trying to like pierce these little holes through firewalls and add more risk.
So you're going to try to go to a device now, or
we were leaning toward a device that like something dual NIC, but not knowing if they were true dual NIC. That way, that one side could be on the outside of the firewall and they connect to it.
I haven't found any of the wireless sharing devices that are actually a true two separate networks. Granted, I don't like them, so I haven't looked much.
Or even set up just the device to be its own Wi-Fi, and they have to connect to that device
that's even
in
worse.
the room.
Oh, that's worse. Don't do that.
Yeah. So
That's the thing that I'm going to complain about here in a minute. But I will say, if you need like wireless right away, there's some options to use the ones that like use little puck systems they have to plug in. Believe it or not, some of those, if you just need to get picture to the next from one thing to another, some of those work just fine with Apple devices, with iPads. Push a button, no drivers, nothing, works great. USB-C, no problem. That is very much a band-aid, a stopgap, but there is probably not going to be a good immediate solution for you. You're going to get
TV.
You're going to hear from all sorts of people that everyone has a solution for this, and none of them are going to do what you want.
To me, this is a very intentional conversation with your network architecture team. And you can get any appliance and just, can you actually take that Wi-Fi VLAN that's out there and get that plumbed to have a wireless instance so it can come where your rack is with a port and actually land that device there and then treat it as an HDMI output.
And this is also a request that we talked about last week to manufacturers. Give us a cloud version of a wireless sharing device.
It's like
that's what we want. We want something
it's
called a PC.
Yeah, but like
there's some stuff out there. There's some clever stuff coming. Yeah. It's just not fully baked yet. And I think it's, go out and, like I said, the WebRTC.
When you say coming, you mean the thing that's been sitting there unchanged since 2018?
No, I think there's different versions of it I've seen now that again, there's going to be more as a service thing like that I think we will see in the coming year. So
I would love for someone to release something like this that has the proper management console behind it and all that stuff, or and ties into SSO, and there's no So, hey, log in, and then you just connects through magic called the cloud, because then it absolves you of all those scenarios. But
let's just move everything to the cloud. What are we doing?
And if it has the C word, my boss will be happy because he wants everything in the cloud.
Yep. Well, and like Justin said early on about this being a silly problem to have, you could purchase the Zoom licenses now and have them. So that's your short-term one.
Got to get the approval to buy them.
Are you doing lecture capture? Just curious.
Yes, we.
It's not a box, so don't say that.
It is a box. We have Panopto recorders.
Stop doing that.
Have you ever thought about using Zoom for lecture capture?
They did before.
Or something, I'm not a Zoom sponsor, but something along those lines.
Well, so they were using Zoom for lecture capture. Our professional schools went over to Panopto and using the Seneca recorders so that they could just schedule all their classes in advance.
You can do that with PCs too.
And when they first went to Panopto, they couldn't find an option. Seneca was even the only hardware recorder at the time.
So if you get value add out of the Zoom/software meeting record, then you by that move you freely get wireless screen share.
Buy the connector that connects Panopto and Zoom, so when it records, it just drops it right
straight
into Panopto.
See, I've been doing that because we still have some faculty who are anti-using the Panopto hardware devices. They don't want to take the time to put their schedules in. I understand. So we
I wouldn't do that shit either. Like, that sounds terrible.
So we implemented the Zoom, where would it go directly from their Zoom into Panopto for storage. Yeah. And then I was told to turn it off because faculty didn't like that.
That makes too much sense. Get rid of that.
Yeah, exactly.
We have it built into the LMS too, so you can just
get that next connector from
your LMS. If they're going to go there to upload their presentation for the day, they hit record and go, and it just all pops back where it's supposed to.
I will say
there's all kinds of solutions. It's just what you're
It's a culture shift.
People are going to allow you to do.
The culture, I will say that you start doing some weird magic, automation, cloud, voodoo stuff in your classroom in Kentucky, and people think it is voodoo, magic, weird witchcraft, and they're like, I don't like it, and I want to do the old way. And there's a lot of that happens.
Which is more sleight of hand. Maybe not
But
as much
magicians
voodoo,
make more
but
money.
more sleight of hand. Yeah.
See, on my campus, it was when we started actually implementing a system that wasn't just a TV on a cart. We were installing equipment to spy on them. Oh, there's a microphone in the ceiling. Teddy is sitting in his office listening to everything.
And if you're just first time listener, that's why we put him out there. We are spying on you. That's what we're doing. So,
well, try
be afraid. Be very afraid.
So we went through the Confucius Institute. I don't know if y'all been through that crap or Confucius Institute and everything. Look it up in the news. But basically, it's a building owned by China on your campus, and we put microphones in there. It's a whole political thing. This is not the show for it. Nonetheless, yeah.
What show would be?
That was not a good idea because look, China put microphones in our class. Like, no, we did that.
Where do you think they're coming from anyway? Is it any different than we're putting them in or China's putting them in?
That came from China. The Americans put their firmware on it. The Americans put it in, and then China is listening. Yes, that is true. Really mess with.
Tell me something I don't know. That's all.
So yeah,
what are you
Let
gonna
me
do?
ask my smart device.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they know where you are. If they want to come get you, they will.
that's why y'all notice why I lean on Justin sometimes, because there really is something in the water in Kentucky.
Yeah, man.
It's called bourbon.
It's like the limestone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy bourbon. I do. But I think some people had a whole lot more.
Well, Teddy, I don't know if we
people
answered
here.
your question or not, but it's.
You gave me a lot
There's
of
a lot.
ammunition to.
So I'm going to
take back.
piggyback on that with my thing that keeps coming back year after year, and it's for the same exact reason. So every year, like clockwork, it comes back either from sales side, from at a trade show, conference, whatever, from somebody else who's seen it at a conference or seen another institution. It's for lack of a better term, and I'm trying to come up with I was asking Larry the other day, like, what do we call these? And we came up with the term BYOD audience mics. And these are just load this software on your laptop, smartphone, tablet, whatever, connect to the magical service we run, and then your microphone in the giant lecture hall, you can hear through or speak through your device, and it comes through the entire system, all that. And that all sounds great on paper until you realize, how do you get from one network to the other? And that's where every single one of these falls apart. There's like 5 or 6 different manufacturers who make these. I love them in concept. The network is the thing that limits and why I can never consider this.
Enterprise ready.
No, well, and even if it kind of is, the management of said device is ridiculous. Like, we think it's hard enough for instructors to choose which camera they're going to use in Zoom. This thing is crazy. I had a large audio DSP manufacturer tell me, you guys really need a bunch of these. I'm like,
ESS?
Close to that. First letter is the same.
Question.
But they came in and they're like, well, you need these. And I got the demo and I'm like, holy crap. You've got to have 3 different machines and 4 people to get the queuing right and
it's
to
a whole
allow somebody
deal.
on and that they can still text and shit through it. I'm like, this is great for the one-offs. This is great for special events, but no.
It's a great idea, but I've yet to find a place I can implement it.
I ain't touching that with a 15-foot pole.
Oh, it's really cool, except.
Yeah.
Not on.
It does everything except it doesn't really work like you want it to. They're
I
clever.
would probably integrate it for maybe a commercial client, but not a university.
Somebody else who has to support it.
I think
Either
all
way, it's going to
else.
be painful. Yeah, it's not
An all hands thing or that special event
Theaters?
auditorium in
Theaters would be
at your
really
university.
nice.
Like, there's one place on your university that it's good for.
You could also just throw this at somebody, high velocity.
Yeah. There's
So
one
We have the
place.
hard version. It is not
you just
soft.
don't-
This one is
you
actually,
just-
if you're ever at a show with us, this one is actually hard plastic. It is not
Just
soft.
We actually
kick it.
It's
freeze
weighted. It has some lead in
Then
it,
we
too.
You're not supposed to kick them.
Right.
Don't kick.
So, yeah, again, I liked the concept of these BYOD microphone systems, but it's the network that is the limitation. And it's the network that doesn't seem to be considered well for, Mark, you said it's not really enterprise ready. Teddy, this is what you were just talking about. You got these devices that it's like, just plug it in and it works. Well, until there's some security applied, then you can't get from A to B.
But also, the wireless network's probably not designed for it.
Just put in more access points, Justin. That's how it works.
Mics, it's not going to...
More access points and more SSIDs. That fixes everything.
I find the same.
I'm on 7. Which one are you
going
on?
the other way too for like hearing assistance, the network-based hearing assistance. It's like this is great, except
great idea, but
you have to have an app. And if you don't have it on your enterprise, then you have to have this. But your enterprise usually isn't set up for multicast audio, so you just get all these.
Yeah.
Curious. Do you think Auracast could solve this?
Yes.
I do.
I'm excited about
I
it.
cannot wait.
We do
potentially.
we do the Wi-Fi based assistive listening.
I'm sorry.
Not anymore. Not after your incident.
It's being moved entirely to the guest network. The reason we went that direction was we had a student whose accommodation required Bluetooth ability for their cochlear. So that
You
was
could do that different ways.
Well, so we went with the Wi-Fi version so they could use their own device. But man, like you were talking about the new one
It's
that
a
Listen's
nightmare.
doing, the new Bluetooth that Listen's doing, very excited about getting that.
Because it's
That's gonna
multi-way.
solve
It's
a
not
lot
just
of problems.
the broadcast side. I think that there's a lot of promise, and I think when we see that come out and things built around that with a higher level of maturity, it's going to make all of these kind of things look really foolish.
Well, and I think the thing
that's
that's
beta. I'm buying that shit right away. Give me beta version.
the thing that really is driving the Auracast and the RE, what's the spec for it? But because it's tied into the Bluetooth special interest group, it's part of the spec from the Bluetooth standards group. So you'll see it from multiple manufacturers and multiple devices simultaneously. And in theory, if everyone plays nicely, you can use brand ABC with transmitter XYZ, and it should work fine. So looking forward to that.
Promise. See if we get there. Yeah.
So, all right, that's enough of my stuff.
Yes,
Larry, what you got? What bothers you every year?
I've got 2. I've got one that'll tick off consultants, and I've got one that'll tick off Mark.
Ooh,
Justin already did the first one.
The consultants is, I'm going through a couple of new building designs right now, and people putting ceiling recess screens and soffits.
Hate it.
Like I'm having to explain over and over again. That's great, but the first time somebody writes on that screen,
Have them call
instead
Don
of
next time
me
they do it.
coming in and swapping out in an hour or two for a couple $100, it's now a $5,000 switch potentially in
You're
multiple
right, Larry.
days.
So I back Larry up on this.
Yeah, we all do.
Consultants, stop that shit. We have a whole building. You know that
But it
building
looks
without
clean,
audio?
Justin. It's
It looks
invisible.
No, it does not look good. Because when they break and the
Invisible.
flat just flaps
Falls
down
down,
and it doesn't go back up.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have
Don't
all
put the
those
doors on
doors
them.
have
off it.
tension too, so they
Oh,
get
son,
glued
I hate
together
it.
up in the ceiling. It's
We
Hate
great.
it.
left them there and added new screens on the walls below.
Uh-huh.
Should
I've got a bunch of
always
those.
be there.
Yep.
Were they electric
And you
screens
end
or
up
manual
losing
screens?
Ceiling height.
Manual screens.
Of course.
Because
The way it
they
was meant
couldn't
to be.
afford the electric, and they didn't want to disconnect and hire an electrician to wire in the new.
Pro tip: have your electricians put a whip on there with an Edison outlet on there, so you don't have to pay them to come in and disconnect
do that.
it.
Super duper pro tip: you can get that
You can
from
buy
the
it.
factory.
Yep.
They both Draper and Daylight, and I'm sure Stewart and others. They
You just
won't
have to
tell
ask.
you that because I don't
You
know
have to
why it's not
ask.
on their freaking website. But you have
Used
to
to
ask
be.
for it, and they'll put the little thing on there. So
So in your standards box where you have your little power coming up on your projector and your drawings, just
Gotta
put an outlet there.
Put an outlet.
duplex
Put an outlet.
receptacle. Yeah.
Yep. Put it in there.
So that's the one that ticks off consultants.
I want mine. What's this?
This just people pretending that a well-designed
Uh-oh.
private island standard classroom
Is this
isn't
about me?
still a reasonable.
Oh man.
Is this about me?
No, it's not about you.
Are you throwing
Don't make
stones
this about
over
you.
my
Justin.
way?
This is about me.
I'm not pretending.
I'm just saying it
I'm
works.
just hating. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey, we all go through our different maturity curves.
Everything
It's
on the
okay.
enterprise until the enterprise is down.
It's fine. Yeah.
I think, in the famous words of Paul Zealy, Teddy, that works great until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't.
Exactly. And I now have learned.
I told you that shit 2 years ago,
So
Teddy.
My rooms are still up, is all I'm saying.
Hey,
Well
you al-
designed
Wrong.
and reasonable. Those
You
are
also-
good keywords.
You also told me about the headache of having a single core trying to run multiple buildings.
I told
Don't
you
do
that.
that.
Listen to
Don't
that.
do that.
Oh my
I
god.
listened and have been making the changes.
And I told you that with a drink in my hand. I remember that conversation.
The islands, yeah. If the islands work for you, and that's your like little archipelago, and you want to do all
or
that
you
stuff,
have to do islands,
go for it,
because
man.
you have to. Then don't, just keep it to yourself. Don't brag about it.
Conversation yesterday with one of the manufacturers, and there's a difference between like swapping your video switcher out with a managed switch and an endpoint and just calling it AV over IP versus AV on the enterprise. They are different things.
So
Very
Aaron's
much.
comment, we know that, Aaron, but $2,000 for a screen roller is more expensive than an $800 manual screen. That's
guys are both
even
wagging
Well,
fingers.
and the other thing, and this is what I found recently with one of
I
mine
can't
that have
make this shit
died.
up.
Well, often that screen will die as soon as they
stop making it.
discontinue the current.
Oh yeah,
Engineered
that's even better.
obsolescence.
So
Yeah,
you're
no,
gonna have to
doesn't
buy a
fit.
whole new
They know.
case and drywall contractor.
I had 2 this last year. Same thing, Larry. Like you can't get the rollers.
No.
Yeah, it's like over 7, 8
So
years
I've
old
had
now.
some
It's-
where they will straight up tell you, and honestly, I'm not going to name the company because I can't remember if it was Draper or Daylight, but it was one of the two because who else is out there? We
There's a
sent them
few,
part
but
numbers,
yeah.
all that. Yeah, I get it. We sent them part numbers, all that. Oh yeah, you need this model roller and motor assembly. Here you go. It didn't fit. And back and forth.
I've never had that
sorry,
happen.
we shipped you the wrong one. Got another one. Oh, sorry, it didn't fit. Finally, like, yep, you got to replace the whole damn thing. So, Sheetrock Town. Yeah.
Yuck.
They owned it up, and they didn't charge, but it was just like,
They didn't charge. They should have paid you for the wasted labor. That's the bullshit of it, because how much time did you spend changing that out twice going... Right,
but
exactly.
to Larry's point, don't buy recess
Stimulating
screens.
the economy. That's all it is.
Labor's just labor, no big deal,
yeah.
right? It's just labor. It's
that
just
in mind.
time.
Someone else's labor. That's right.
Yeah, as long as it's yours.
All right, Larry, did we get to both of yours
You
there?
got 'em.
Yeah, those are both mine.
Jamie, what you got?
All right, every year, the last few years,
Lay it on us.
every year. How do I extend this USB camera?
Don't do that!
And or how do I get the network camera into my computer?
But I just see that on the forums. I don't really experience that because I don't do that shit. So where do you...
Well, but whenever we go talk to other friends and nerds, and when you
it's
see
just-
the forums, and when you're out there and you talk to manufacturers like, oh, well, you just need to plug this Zoom ready. Bullshit. I got to put this camera 75 feet away. How am I going to get it there? Well, use this extender. Oh my God.
No, that's another failure point. Oh, by the way, it doesn't work on the new Zoom update. Oh, by the way.
That's
Oh,
one
by
of,
the
yeah,
way.
one of similar to the one of mine, Jimmy, but I'm going to keep going.
I just, every year it keeps coming up. So we either need to, A, stop using this all the time, which is not going to happen. USB UVC video is here to stay. So somebody, for God's sakes,
Let's-
come up with a reliable network decoding straight to UVC, because going into the computer, the applications, Aaron, I swear we're going to block you, man.
Let's have a heart to heart.
No, Aaron, I really like that you participate.
Jamie,
It's just funny.
we've talked about this. Leading manufacturers, you all have packed every single fucking version of streaming on your camera. Can we not just make the box that simply decodes that and passes that to
Yes.
USB and just it's on the network and it just goes? Like, what are we doing? Can we stop it with these goddamn USB extenders? You're building it all in there. Just make the decoder. You have the license. Come on.
Just put the same damn box, the board, the computer board at the the end.
There might even be some protocols that look like AV over IP that do this goddamn thing.
What
Come
he
on.
said. What he
We
said.
don't want dual NICs. We don't want the software problems. We just want
It can be
Take it off
point
the
to
network
point if it needs to.
put it on a USB cable.
I'll put it
That's
on an island if it works, just to make Larry happy. Yeah.
Sorry. Every year it comes up. Every year it pisses us off, and it's either or. One of the two.
Yes.
They're kind of linked, but not. But
So, Jamie, to add on that, I'm amused by the companies who make 3 things that do what we need, but they don't make the one thing with all 3 devices in one.
It's because we can't get it through UL listing, Chris. If we do that.
It's because you have to buy all 3 things, so they're making more money.
And every year they're like, look at this
Tchotchkes.
great thing. And like, you didn't help any. You didn't help. We can take your webcam and make it an NDI stream, but we
I
can't
don't
go in
give a
reverse.
shit about that.
Yeah, I
We
don't
go the
care.
other
Why would I do
way.
that? That's stupid. Webcams suck.
But it's NDI, Jamie.
When they do
But
make
it's
this
NDI,
product,
right? You put the worst possible lens system in front of NDI.
It's NDI with an EPTZ in it.
Oh, it's
Those are both bad.
Oh, that was a good one.
I'm going to buy
we got that out of our
exclusively
system.
those.
So, but when they do make the box, it will be an annual license to be able to use it.
Damn it, Teddy! Don't give him
And they
ideas.
can drop it right in the river.
It's got to be online all the time so it can get its key.
Has to be cloud connected.
It's got to talk up every 5 milliseconds.
Yes.
And we're gonna make sure it fails right
It's
out
got
of
to
the
be
gate.
full open, no firewall. Just run
It
it
would have
naked.
worked if people would have bought the licenses.
We suggest a public IP.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Put this outside your firewall. It's fine.
Exactly.
The UVC stuff in general seems to be something that a lot of manufacturers are missing. They can do a lot of encoding, decoding, a lot of transport, receive, all sorts of stuff on their whatever boxes, and there's never a freaking straight up UVC output. Yes. I have to burn an output from something to convert that to UVC.
Yeah, they always think that we're installing these shits right next to the computer.
The computer.
It's like,
Don't you?
no.
You don't have your computer at the back of the room on the wall?
Or we're going to have like 3 or 4 computers.
That's where
in the
they're
room
all
just
meant to be,
encode
wasn't it? Just
all
bolted to the
yes,
back wall?
yeah.
Well, you can use the new Microsoft.
Don't get me started on Microsoft.
What is that Edge
don't have
appliance thing?
The fake computer for the computer price.
Yeah,
for the same price as your computer, it
the
does
Office
less.
365 box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Yeah, the
I
one
don't
that
know
just
about-
sits out there. What is the thin clients?
Yep.
I don't even
Remember
want to know. I don't want to know about it.
It won't exist in a year, Justin, so it doesn't matter.
It may not
don't
exist
care.
there. I'm
They've already
trying to get one.
That
Alrighty. Okay, Mark.
complicated.
My
Bat
thing
and, bat and clean up today.
Yeah, it's rare for me. We're kind of coming up into these show seasons. The show season is coming up on us here, and I don't want to hear about the next big trend in video. This is a transparent display, and then people coming back from traveling overseas, we're going to put transparent display. It's going to be the next big thing in every single conference room. No, it's not. We're not going to have transparent displays. We're not going to have wacky ass aspect ratios in spaces. Don't try to convince us that all these weird projection, clear, crystal clear, this, that, and this is going to be the next big thing. It's not going to be the next big thing. Sorry.
Ooh, transparent projection.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm doing
transparent projectors.
Whatever happened to us being cartoon avatars in meetings with helmets on? Wasn't that supposed to be?
What
a
do you
big
think
thing
this
coming?
is, Justin? I'm
Yeah,
not sure
man,
what.
like-
Justin, what are you seeing? We're all cartoon avatars right now, so
Well, in all seriousness, have you seen the stories on the Australian Open?
Yes.
So they
That's
sold
pretty
all the TV rights to the cable company. So Australian Open decided, well, we want it on YouTube for free, and they changed all of the people into the little avatars.
Yeah, why not?
So now if you watch the Australian Open on YouTube, you see
Is
the
that-
little like Wii characters. And
Is that happening right
they're
now?
tracking,
Is that-
they're motion tracking all the players, and it's pretty accurate. It's a pretty cool little deal, but
is it all
So to get
transparent
around-
OLED LCD
I'll
screens?
be honest,
everywhere?
that works for golf because watching golf is boring as shit. So like watching rocks move around
it's a
would
good thing
probably
it's
be
tennis.
the same thing. But if you did that for football or basketball, I'd be pissed.
Would you?
Like I would be
I would
really
be
I don't know if
interested
I
in-
would be.
I'm like, it's pretty cool. Now I couldn't watch the whole thing that way, but
Yeah, I couldn't watch any.
the
golf
Australian
that way.
Open, I think it's great because they're like, well, we signed the money contract with all the networks, so they can have the live video, but
This is
we'll
ours.
go ahead and do this anyway.
It's cool. It's creative. Coming soon. So is that going to be in all of our classrooms? Coming
So, Mark,
soon,
that is
James?
that is the
Avatars.
next big
Avatars
thing.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's the next big thing. Yeah, it has to be. So I don't know. I'm just on the edge of my seat to see whatever.
So you don't have 3D projection everywhere? You're not
That's what I'm
doing
saying. Yeah, that was the other thing. The
8K?
3D, the oddball
Or
things that we keep seeing. This is
3D direct
32K
VLED displays that
all
move.
Yeah, exactly.
I personally am waiting for the drones
Drones in every classroom.
so that I can just do the displays through the drones in the sky.
Oh, you're just gonna do like the big drone like show.
Yeah, but
gotcha.
the refresh rate on the lights will be fast enough to actually be motion video from the
clever,
drones in the sky.
Would they be mini ones or would they just be really big
I
ones?
don't care.
Yeah,
They can be the giant ones.
I guess it's all about
That
furthest
just
viewer.
means they've got to
at
be
that
on the edge
point.
of space.
Yeah, it's going to be way up there. Everyone go outside and look at these.
That's when we'll get to 12 and 16K displays. They'll need like 4,000.
And then
billion.
my other one is the similar. I don't want to hear about how everybody magically is on 10 gig networks for all their endpoints, and yet we have tons of manufacturers making 10 gig endpoints. It's like it's not as proliferate as people think it is, and how it's going to take over the world. No, not this year. It's not, but we'll hear about it this year.
There's a lot of things are moving to 10 gig infrastructure.
Oh,
Not in Kentucky.
Yeah, but my infrastructure needs to move to 10 gig infrastructure.
Yeah. It's like my buildings aren't, so
Your buildings aren't too?
They are capable,
Well,
but I
they
don't
are
think we're not managing at that level yet.
Yeah.
1 gig trunks.
Yeah.
we
But
have 40
everybody's
gig
treating
chunks.
everything like, oh, 10 gigs.
How is Wyoming doing this when you guys aren't? What's happening?
No, we have it, but we're not. We're just not managing it.
You're
that
not
way.
10G to every port,
You
right?
got
No,
flat
not to every
land out
port,
there,
but-
Chris. We got too many hills,
And that's what we're
shit.
talking. It's
Yeah.
10G to every port.
The cabling supports it, and in
Yes.
newer buildings, it is 10 gig
Yeah.
to the desk. Yes.
There you go.
But
Cool.
yeah,
We
but
have
not in the
10
older buildings.
gig
We still have
links
buildings that have
between,
Cat
but-
3 with
Yeah.
3-wire. So figure that one.
1 gig between. Have y'all ever been to Eastern Kentucky? Seriously?
no, but we're planning on
I'm
it after
surprised
this.
you have
I think we're going to
networks
go now.
over there.
Sounds interesting.
Eastern Kentucky is wild. Like I read a comment online somewhere that it's like, oh yeah, I'm in this city in Eastern Kentucky at a McDonald's and it's Podunk Town. I was like, well, hold on. If you're driving through and you say you were at a McDonald's in some Podunk town, you don't know what Podunk is.
Exactly.
That's actually a city in Kentucky.
Podunk. They don't have McDonald's there.
Podunk.
They don't have. They don't have.
Paducah.
They might have a gas station, maybe. Probably don't have a gas station.
I've been through Paducah, Kentucky.
So
I know
you're
people have been
lucky you
arrested
got a
in Paducah.
network,
Yeah.
Teddy.
Yeah.
You're lucky you have
Hey,
connectivity.
I grew up in a county in West Virginia, though, that didn't have anything. Had one working red light in the whole county.
There is not a Subway in Podunk, Kentucky, Aaron.
Was that red light considered AV?
Aaron, it's not a. They don't have McDonald's. They have a McDowell's.
Man, Subway's in some really small places.
They do. Still
All right.
slinging
Well,
them out. Those
Where I
sandwich
went to
artists are hard
undergrad,
workers.
didn't have a Subway, but we had a Blimpie, if y'all remember Blimpies.
Oh, Blimpie.
I remember Blimpies.
I know Blimpies.
Yeah,
Same
the Subway
color
is
of logo.
usually in the gas station.
Well, the Blimpie was in the gas station.
See?
Yeah.
They do not have a Starbucks in West Virginia or Kentucky in these
What?
little tiny towns.
Oh, and okay. It's like the
They
entire
don't
state.
have anything in these towns. And
No, man. I grew up in one of them. They don't.
You grew up in a
Yeah.
Starbucks?
Came of age in a Starbucks.
We just got a standalone
Behind the booth
Starbucks
in the
in
corner.
Pikeville. So
and where'd you get
See,
in
they
Pikeville?
just
we got
got
a
one,
standalone
Larry, come
Starbucks
on.
in Pikeville. Just got it.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
See, Teddy, the real thing is when you get two of them, so you can say, let's not go to that one, let's go to the other one.
They have better coffee over there. It's burnt at the other one. I don't like
All
it.
right. Well, we've dug quite a hole here. Any other things we forgot to bring up that comes up every year like clockwork for Groundhog Day, because it'll be back again next year.
There's a lot. We don't have any more time.
We're over time here. All right. Well, we'll roll out.
Yeah, this could have been off the rails. Maybe it's.
It's 3
On
minutes away.
topic, Justin.
I know it is, but semantics.
Thanks for putting up with yet another episode of AV SuperFriends on Topic. You can contact us with questions, topic ideas, or general complaints at avsuperfriends.com.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
The opinions expressed by the AV SuperFriends are solely those of the individuals and do not represent their respective institutions, organizations, companies, or clients.